Learning is an important key factor in every student's life as it nourishes the mind, allows students to grow and develop their own worldviews. As I embark on this educational journey, I am committed to creating a safe environment for all my learners as well as have an impact on the community. My educational dreams support the Alice Springs Declaration, stating we as a nation committed to equity and excellence in education, that all children are confident, creative, lifelong learners active in their community, and that students are supported no matter what challenges they may be facing. My dreams also support the Equity and Excellence Education Strategy booklet, which focuses on fostering collaboration between schools and communities and delivering sustainable investments within schools in the future. This begins with making sure all students can benefit from structural learning and helps build their emotional, social, and cognitive skills needed to understand their responsibilities within the community. Reflecting on my aspirations for my students, I don't want to see society filled with mythical norms and inequality where there's an educational gap between stereotyped students. I don't want students to feel like they are not cared and valued for. This well-worn, integrated path of narrow education leads to the continuous vicious cycle of oppressed minorities and advantaged privileges. As an educator, I want my goals to align with the Code of Ethics for Teachers in Queensland, providing integrity, dignity, responsibility, respect, justice, and care for all students. I want to witness profound social change, ensuring that every child, regardless of race, culture, gender, or disability, has equal access to the advantages that education has to offer. My classroom will have a holistic approach of learning and support students and teachers to grow and empower each other. I look to Bell Hooks' philosophy when teaching in my future class, as she believes to educate as a practice of freedom is a way of teaching that anyone can learn. This correlates to APST 1.2, understanding how all students learn and making them feel valued within the classroom. Like Hooks, my dream is to be a teacher who creates a warm, safe environment so all students can thrive and nourishes learners, to create a diverse and difference, and to encourage students to think beyond the strict binary notions of social norms. I want to create an encouraging, diverse teaching environment to connect with students. To do this, I will identify and plan professional learning needs from APST 6.1 and use the inclusive activities to teach students how to be more accepting of others and not follow the notion of stereotypical behaviours. This also correlates to APST 1.3 to support all students with diverse linguistics, cultures, religions, and socio-economic backgrounds. Hooks argues that education can create a transformative and inclusive educational experience for all students, fostering critical thinking as well as empowering students to be agents of social change. Fostering this idea of learning will help support the Code of Ethics by demonstrating dignity, justice, and care. Sadly, not all students are receiving the dignity, justice, and care they need. Attendance rates for Indigenous students are much lower than attendance rates for non-Indigenous students, with only 80% of Indigenous students attending school compared to 95% of non-Indigenous students. Teachers are still unknowingly using cultural appropriation within classrooms. For example, teachers using Indigenous dot art without following protocol. We as educators need to understand and talk about the barriers to learning and why some groups fail while others exceed. It is our role to show students that we are teachers and we care and want to empower all young creative learners and understand how all students learn, following APST 1.2. Experiencing exclusion is something no student should have to go through. I remember being in Year 3, receiving straight Ds and being excluded and being called the troublesome kid that doesn't want to learn. When reflecting upon my experience in the classroom, I want to show all students that I care about them. This correlates to Nell Nodding's educational philosophy. Noddings argues that the experience in which we immerse ourselves tends to produce a mentality. If we want to create people who will care for others, then it makes sense to give students practice in caring and reflection on that practice. She demonstrates that care is making it individualized and what students need, caring about their specific needs on a personal level. This correlates with the Code of Ethics, having empathy for students, their families, carers, colleagues, and communities. It is my responsibility as a future educator to create a safe and supportive environment and embrace change within the classroom, creating equity, social justice, and celebrating diversity. To understand children's specific needs and care about their interests, abilities, and motivations. As a future educator, I want all students to understand the harmful social norms and create awareness.
Only through inclusive and equitable education can we nurture a future where every learner, regardless of their differences, blossoms into the fullness of their potential.